We have some major breaking news. Donald Trump has been diagnosed with a common vein condition. Moments ago, Caroline Leavitt wrapped up a press briefing in which she was clearly dodging questions about Epstein. We'll get to that in 1 second. But she opened off this presser by announcing that Donald Trump is suffering from mild health issues. This comes after this specific photo has been circulating online for the past week or so. In this photo, you see Donald Trump's right hand during a handshake. And if I zoom in, you can see a lot of clear discolorment in his hand. There is a huge portion of his hand that is just completely off, which led to a lot of questions and speculation. And the President of the United States should be transparent with the American people on both their state of mind and their health. And Trump clearly is not in a good state of mind. He hasn't been transparent. So the last thing we had was just something about his health to speculate about. But now we know for a fact that Donald Trump was diagnosed with a common vein condition. It's called chronic venous insufficiency, causing mild swelling in his legs. And this isn't a rare or immediately dangerous condition in the sense that it's not super urgent. But it's also important to point out that Donald Trump has been showing clear signs of cognitive decline. I'm not making this up. You can watch any clip of him talking about Epstein over the past few days, and he can't even spit out a full sentence. So when he has cognitive decline combined with incoming health issues, which again, aren't that serious, this is actually quite a common issue for people in his age range from what I've looked up. I just think a lot of this stuff compounds, and when we already have kind of an idiot president who can't form a full sentence, it's not reassuring to also hear he has health issues. I'm going to break down this clip of Caroline Leavitt making the announcement, but I want to start with the Epstein drama. Caroline Leavitt is now, repeating Donald Trump's lie that this is called the Epstein hoax. And honestly, it's almost disrespectful. I mean, Caroline Leavitt is having some trouble spinning this. Let's just start off with this clip where Caroline Leavitt is asked, which part of this is even a hoax? And then from there, we'll talk about the health.
Thank you for being with us today. Sure. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. There's been a lot of discussion about the Epstein files and the president's comments yesterday calling it a hoax. Can you clarify which part of the Epstein hoax is the hoax part?
The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make. The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and his heinous crimes.
Literally a year ago, a judge under Biden released 950 pages about the Epstein investigation. Now, there are some redactions because we have to protect the names of victims, but a judge released this. In those 950 pages, Trump's name was in the flight logs. We've seen the flight logs over and over and over, and those 950 pages provided a lot of transparency. The Biden admin was incredibly transparent. The Trump admin is not transparent when they want to cover something up, but they are transparent when the time doesn't call for it. For example, Pete Hegseth was very transparent about our plan to bomb the Houthis. That's not something you want to be transparent about. Let's continue this clip.
It was this president who directed the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to do an exhaustive review of all files related to Jeffrey Epstein, which they did. The Attorney General and the FBI, led by Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, these are great patriots, some of the most trusted voices in the Republican Party movement. It's part of the reason the president appointed them to these high law enforcement positions, and they spent many months going through all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein, and they concluded what they found in that memo, which they drafted and they released. And so the president has been transparent. He has followed through on his promises.
Yeah, he's been transparently dumb throughout this whole thing. Do you think lying this much takes years off your life? Because I almost feel bad for Caroline Leavitt. Not actually, but the fact that she has to go out there and spin for Donald Trump's dumbass lies every day must be excruciating. But beyond that, everything she just rattled off was a complete lie. First of all, the idea that Obama had anything to do with the Epstein files is a complete lie. Donald Trump is doing that because he's trying to undermine the files before they even come out. The client list hasn't even come out, and Trump is trying to undermine it. Caroline Leavitt then claims that Democrats are seizing on this opportunity, but I actually fully disagree. Republicans are the ones who are clearly leading the way on this, and Republicans will admit that. Like, all of the Republican pundits, a lot of them are out there right now saying, why is Trump calling me an idiot for asking questions about the Epstein client list? Caroline Leavitt is further alienating the base by implying that Democrats are leading the way when Republicans are leading the way on this. We're just over here saying, we told you we wanted transparency and Trump wouldn't provide that. Then Caroline Leavitt completely ignores a question about Trump pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell.
Elizabeth.
Caroline, one more on.
Elizabeth,
will the president consider pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell if the Epstein case is a hoax?
She just doesn't answer.
I'll start off with the president said last week.
Does not care to answer whatsoever. She's then asked, "You said mild swelling was in Trump's leg."
Steve, go ahead.
Back to your letter that you read at the beginning.
Sure.
The president, you said mild swelling in his legs.
Yes, sir.
Is it causing him any discomfort? How are you treating it?
Nope, no discomfort from the president at all, and you probably all see that on a day-to-day basis. He's working around the clock. As for the treatments, I can defer to the president's physician, and we'll get you this letter. I think it will answer all your questions.
You're right, Caroline.
Now I want to play the video of Caroline Leavitt announcing the health condition. One more time, here's the photo that went quite viral in high definition. You can see something clearly off with his hand. Here is Caroline Leavitt addressing that right now.
On another note, I know that many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today. In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. In keeping with routine medical care and out of an abundance of caution, this concern was thoroughly evaluated by the White House medical unit. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Laboratory testing included a complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, coagulation profile, D-dimer, B-type natriuretic peptide, and cardiac biomarkers. All results were within normal limits. An echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy. And the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness on a daily basis here. So the president wanted me to share that note with all of you. I'm happy to take further questions.
And here is Fox News reacting to this after.
That's not serious. It's completely benign. It's cosmetic, and it's expected from a man in his late 70s who's standing on his feet all the time. And to your point about shaking hands, her point about shaking hands, Caroline Leavitt says, look, he's on an aspirin. He shakes a lot of hands. I've shaken the man's hand. He gives a very vigorous handshake. That's not.
Listen. I'm trying to be nuanced here because this condition that Trump has is actually quite common, but I think the argument I made earlier really comes down to it. This is only compounding on multiple other issues that we can see with our own eyes. We can see that Donald Trump is not mentally well. We've known that he's a malignant narcissist, and that has only been compounded recently over the years. And yes, while this is a common issue, him having mild swelling of the legs while running the country could continue to compound and get worse and worse. It is incredibly worrying. I would not wish a health condition on any of my worst enemies. I heard a quote that everyone has problems, but once you have a health problem, you only have one problem. And that's very true. So health conditions can be scary. We need full transparency from this admin, and that is not what we're getting. If you'd like to see more of my content, drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.